Blight by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Read for LibriVox.org by Jared Korth. Give me truths, for I am weary of the surfaces, and die of inanition. If I knew only the herbs and simples of the wood, rue, cinquefoil, gill, vervain and agrimony, blue vetch and trillium, hawkweed, sassafras, milkweeds and murky brakes, quaint pipes and sundew, and rare and virtuous roots which in these woods draw untold juices from the common earth, untold, unknown, and I could surely spell their fragrance, and their chemistry apply by sweet affinities to human flesh, driving the foe and stablishing the friend. Oh, that were much, and I could be a part of the round day, related to the sun and planted world, and full executor of their imperfect functions. But these young scholars who invade our hills, bold as the engineer who fells the wood, and travelling often in the cut he makes, love not the flower they pluck, and know it not, and all their botany is Latin names. The old men studied magic in the flowers, and human fortunes in astronomy, and an omnipotence in chemistry, preferring things to names, for these were men, were Unitarians of the united world, and wheresoever their clear eye-beams fell, they caught the footsteps of the same. Our eyes are armed, but we are strangers to the stars, and strangers to the mystic beast and bird, and strangers to the plant and to the mine. The injured elements say, not in us. And night and day, ocean and continent, fire, plant, and mineral say, not in us, and haughtily return us stare for stare. For we invade them impiously for gain. We devastate them unreligiously, and coldly ask their pottage, not their love. Therefore they shove us from them, yield to us only what our griping toil is due. But the sweet affluence of love and song, the rich results of the divine consents of man and earth, of world beloved and lover, the nectar and ambrosia are withheld. And in the midst of spoils and slaves, we thieves and pirates of the universe, shut out daily to a more thin and outward rind, turn pale and starve. Therefore, to our sick eyes, the stunted trees look sick, the summer short. Clouds shade the sun which will not tan our hay, and nothing thrives to reach its natural term. And life, shorn of its venerable length, even at its greatest space is a defeat, and dies in anger that it was a dupe. And in its highest noon and wantonness is early frugal like a beggar's child. Even in the hot pursuit of the best aims and prizes of ambition, checks its hand, like alpine cataracts frozen as they leaped, chilled with a miserly comparison of the toy's purchase with the length of life. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Bursting of the Boom by Henry Lawson. Read for LibriVox.org by Son of the Exiles. The Bursting of the Boom. The shipping office clerks are short, the manager is gruff. They cannot make reductions, and the fares are low enough. They ship us west with cattle, and we go like cattle too, and fight like dogs 3 times a day for what we get to chew. We'll have the pick of empty bunks and lots of stretching room, and go for next to nothing at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a show. Then when the boom bursts is our time to go. We'll meet 'em coming back in shoals with looks of deepest gloom, but we're the sort that battle through at the bursting of the boom. The captain's easy going when Fremantle comes in sight. He can't say when you'll get ashore, perhaps tomorrow night. Your coins are few, the charge is high, you must not linger here. You'll get your boxes from the hold when she's 'longside the pier. The launch will foul the gangway, and the trembling bullocks loom above a fleet of harbour craft at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a show. He'll take you for a bob, sir, and where you want to go. He'll take the big portmanteau, sir, if he might so presume. You needn't hump your luggage at the bursting of the boom. It's loafers, customs loafers, and you pay and pay again. They hinder you and cheat you from the gangway to the train. The pubs and restaurants are full, they haven't room for more. They charge us each 3 shillings for a shakedown on the floor. But show this gentleman upstairs, the first front parlour room. We'll see about your luggage, sir, at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a show, and wait till the boom bursts and swear mighty low. We mostly charge £1 a week, how do you like the room? And show this gentleman the bath at the bursting of the boom. I go down to the timber yard, I cannot face the rent, to get some strips of Oregon to frame my hessian tent, to buy some scraps of lumber for a table or a shelf. The boss comes up and says, I might just look round for myself. The foreman grunts and turns away as silent as the tomb. The boss himself will wait on me at the bursting of the boom. So wait till the boom bursts, we'll all get a load. You'd better take those scraps, sir, they're only in the road. Now where the hell's the carter? You'll hear the foreman fume. And take that timber round at once at the bursting of the boom. Each one a penny grocer in his box of board and tin will think it condescending to consent to take you in. And not content with twice as much as what is just and right, they charge and cheat you doubly, for the boom is at its height. It's take it now or leave it now, your money or your room. But who's attending Mr. Brown at the bursting of the boom? So wait till the boom bursts and take what you can get. There's not the slightest hurry and your bill ain't ready yet. They'll call and get your orders until the crack o' doom, and send them round directly at the bursting of the boom. No country and no brotherhood, such things are dead and cold. A camp from all the lands or none, all mad for love of gold. Where t'other side of number 1 makes slave of number 2, and the vilest women of the world the vilest ways pursue. And men go out and slave and bake and die in agony in western hills that God forgot, where never man should be. I feel a prophet in my heart that speaks the one word doom, and you'll hear the devil laugh at the bursting of the boom. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Edward Gray by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Read for LibriVox.org by Dom Bombadil. Sweet Emma Moorland of yonder town met me walking on yonder way. And have you lost your heart, she said, and are you married yet, Edward Gray? Sweet Emma Moorland spoke to me, bitterly weeping I turned away. Sweet Emma Moorland, love no more can touch the heart of Edward Gray. Ellen Adair, she loved me well, against her father's and mother's will. Today I sat for an hour and wept by Ellen's grave on the windy hill. Shy she was, and I thought her cold, thought her proud and fled over the sea. Filled I was with folly and spite, when Ellen Adair was dying for me. Cruel, cruel the words I said, cruelly came they back today. You're too slight and fickle, I said, to trouble the heart of Edward Gray. There I put my face in the grass, whispered, listen to my despair. I repent me of all I did, speak a little, Ellen Adair. Then I took a pencil and wrote on the mossy stone as I lay, here lies the body of Ellen Adair, and here the heart of Edward Gray. Love may come and love may go, and fly like a bird from tree to tree, but I will love no more, no more, till Ellen Adair come back to me. Bitterly wept I over the stone, bitterly weeping I turned away. There lies the body of Ellen Adair, and there the heart of Edward Gray. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Exiled by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. September 2014. Searching my heart for its true sorrow, this is the thing I find to be, that I am weary of words and people, sick of the city, wanting the sea, wanting the sticky, salty sweetness of the strong wind and shattered spray, wanting the loud sound and the soft sound of the big surf that breaks all day. Always before, about my dooryard, marking the reach of the winter sea, rooted in sand and dragging driftwood, straggled the purple wild sweet pea. Always I climbed the wave at morning, shook the sand from my shoes at night, that now am caught beneath great buildings, stricken with noise, confused with light. If I could hear the green piles groaning under the windy wooden piers, see once again the bobbing barrels, and the black sticks that fence the weirs, if I could see the weedy mussels crusting the wrecked and rotting hulls, hear once again the hungry crying overhead of the wheeling gulls, feel once again the shanty straining under the turning of the tide, fear once again the rising freshet, dread the bell in the fog outside, I should be happy, that was happy all day long on the coast of Maine. I have a need to hold and handle shells and anchors and ships again. I should be happy, that am happy never at all since I came here. I am too long away from water. I have a need of water near. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Fall Leaves Fall by Emily Bronte. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Fall leaves fall, die flowers away, lengthen night and shorten day. Every leaf speaks bliss to me, fluttering from the autumn tree. I shall smile when wreaths of snow blossom where the rose should grow. I shall sing when night's decay ushers in a drearier day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Finnegan to Flanagan by Strickland Gilliland. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Superintendent was Flanagan. Boss of the section was Finnegan. Whenever the cars got off on the track and muddled up things to the divil and back, Finnegan writ it to Flanagan of after the rick was all on again. That is, this Finnegan reported to Flanagan. When Finnegan first writ to Flanagan, he writ 10 pages, did Finnegan, and he told just how the smash occurred. Full many a tageous blunderin' word did Finnegan write to Flanagan after the cars had gone on again. That's the way Finnegan reported to Flanagan. Now Flanagan knowed more than Finnegan. He'd more education, had Flanagan, and it wore him clane and completely out to tell what Finnegan writ about in his writing to Mr. Flanagan. So he writed this here: Master Finnegan, don't do such a sin again. Make 'em brief, Finnegan. When Finnegan got this from Flanagan, he blushed rosy red, did Finnegan, and he said, I'll gamble a whole month's pay that it'll be many and many a day before a superintendent, that's Flanagan, gets a whack at that very same sin again. From Finnegan to Flanagan, reports won't be so long again. One day, on the section of Finnegan, on the road superintended by Flanagan, a rail gave way on a bit of a curve, and some cars went off as they made the swerve. There's nobody hurted, says Finnegan, but reports must be made to Flanagan. And he winked at Mike Corrigan as married a Finnegan. He was shanty and thin, was Finnegan, as many a railroader's been again, and his smoky old lamp was burnin' bright in Finnegan's shanty all that night. Bilin' down his report was Finnegan, and he writed this here: Muster Flanagan, off again, on again, gone again, Finnegan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Give and Take by John Gould Fletcher, from Modern Lamentations, Poetry, 1916. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Reading by Matt Perard. Give and Take by John Gould Fletcher. I gave you everything. My sorrows amused you, and my fame. You gave me everything again. Care, suffering, shame. I gave you everything. I let you daub my love with filthy lust. You gave me everything again, ashes and bitter dust. I gave you everything, children, toil, gold. You gave me everything again. The purse of life is empty that I hold. I gave you everything. With jewels of song I made and left you fair. You gave me everything again, old age, despair. Now there is nothing more than I can give. Useless to me now anything but the grave. I shall pass out to the night, but you can live, unless you have flung away the things I gave. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Gossamer by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Read for LibriVox.org by Isha Mitchell Kammer in Denver, Colorado. The peerless boon of innocence, the first in nature's list, is fading ere the rising sun the world awake has kissed. The early dew upon the grass, the purity of morn, the glint that lies in virgin cheek, frail cobwebs of the dawn. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Humoresque by T.S. Eliot. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. After J. LaForge. One of my marionettes is dead, though not yet tired of the game, but weak in body as in head. A jumping jack has such a frame. But this deceased marionette I rather liked, a common face, the kind of face that we forget, pinched in a comic, dull grimace. Half bullying, half imploring air, mouth twisted to the latest tune, his "Who the devil are you?" stare, translated, maybe, to the moon. With Limbo's other useless things, haranguing spectres set him there. The snappiest fashion since last spring's, the newest style on earth, I swear. Why don't you people get some class? Feebly contemptuous of nose. Your damned thin moonlight, worse than gas. Now in New York. And so it goes. Logic, a marionettes, all wrong of premises, yet in some star a hero. Where would he belong? But even at that, what mask bizarre! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Servants' Quarters by Thomas Hardy. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Man, you too, aren't you one of these rough followers of the criminal, all hanging here about to gather how he's going to bear examination in the hall? She flung disdainful glances on the shabby figure standing at the fire, with others there, who warmed them by its flare. No, indeed, my skipping maiden, I know nothing of the trial here, or criminal, if so he be. I chanced to come this way, and the fire shone out into the dawn, and morning airs are cold now. I, too, was drawn in part by charms I see before me play, that I see not every day. Ha ha! Then laughed the constables, who also stood to warm themselves, the while another maiden scrutinized his features hard, as the blaze threw into contrast every line and knot that wrinkled them, exclaiming, "Why, last night, when he was brought in by the guard, you were with him in the yard." "Nay, nay, you teasing wench, I say, you know you speak mistakenly. Cannot a tired pedestrian who has footed it afar, here on his way from northern parts, engrossed in humble marketings, come in and rest awhile, although judicial doings are afoot by morning star?" "Oh, come, come," laughed the constables. "Why, man, you speak the dialect he uses in his answers. You can hear him up the stairs. So own it, we shan't hurt ye. There, he's speaking now. His syllables are those you sound yourself when you are talking unawares, as this pretty girl declares." "And you shudder when his chain clinks," she rejoined. "Oh, yes, I noticed it. And you winced, too, when those cuffs they gave him echoed to us here. They'll soon be coming down, and you may then have to defend yourself, unless you hold your tongue, or go away and keep you clear when he's led to judgment near." "No, I'll be damned in hell if I know anything about the man. No single thing about him more than everybody knows. Must not I even warm my hands when I am charged with blasphemies?" His face convulses as the morning cock that moment crows, and he stops and turns and goes. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Mr. Apollinax by T.S. Eliot. Read for LibriVox.org by Algie Pug. When Mr. Apollinax visited the United States, his laughter tinkled among the teacups. I thought of Fragilion, that shy figure among the birch trees, and of Priapus in the shrubbery gaping at the lady in the swing. In the palace of Mrs. Flaccus, at Professor Channing Cheetah's, he laughed like an irresponsible fetus. His laughter was submarine and profound, like the old man of the seas, hidden under coral islands, where worried bodies of drowned men drift down in the green silence, dropping from fingers of surf. I looked for the head of Mr. Apollinax rolling under a chair, or grinning over a screen with seaweed in its hair. I heard the beat of Centaur's hoofs over the hard turf, as his dry and passionate talk devoured the afternoon. He is a charming man, but after all what did he mean? His pointed ears, he must be unbalanced. There was something he said that I might have challenged. Of Dowager Mrs. Flaccus, and Professor and Mrs. Cheetah, I remember a slice of lemon and a bitten macaroon. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An Old Woman of the Roads by Patrick Colm. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Oh, to have a little house to own the hearth and stool and all, the heaped up sods against the fire, the pile of turf against the wall. To have a clock with weights and chains, and pendulum swinging up and down, a dresser filled with shining delf, speckled and white and blue and brown. I could be busy all the day, clearing and sweeping hearth and floor, and fixing on their shelf again my white and blue and speckled store. I could be quiet there at night, beside the fire and by myself, sure of a bed and loath to leave the ticking clock and the shining delf. Ah, but I'm weary of mist and dark, and roads where there's never a house nor bush, and tired I am of bog and road, and the crying wind, and the lonesome hush. And I am praying to God on high, and I am praying him night and day, for a little house, a house of my own, out of the winds and the rain's way. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Roads by Edward Thomas. Read for LibriVox.org by Algie Pug, Perth, Western Australia. I love roads. The goddesses that dwell far along invisible are my favourite gods. Roads go on while we forget, and are forgotten like a star that shoots and is gone. On this earth, 'tis sure, we men have not made anything that doth fade so soon, so long endure. The hill road wet with rain in the sun would not gleam like a winding stream if we trod it not again. They are lonely while we sleep, lonelier for lack of the traveller, who is now a dream only. From dawn's twilight and all the clouds like sheep on the mountains of sleep, they wind into the night. The next turn may reveal heaven, upon the crest the close pine clump at rest, and black may hell conceal. Often footsore, never yet of the road are weary, though long and steep and dreary as it winds on for ever. Helen of the roads, the mountain ways of Wales, and the Mabinogian tales, is one of the true gods. Abiding in the trees, the threes and fours, so wise, the larger companies that by the roadside be, and beneath the rafter, else uninhabited, excepting by the dead, and it is her laughter. At morn and night I hear when the thrush-cock sings bright irrelevant things, and when the chanticleer calls back to their own night troops that make loneliness with their light footsteps press, as Helen's own are light. Now all roads lead to France, and heavy is the tread of the living, but the dead returning lightly dance. Whatever the road bring to me or take from me, they keep me company with their pattering, crowding the solitude of the loops over the downs, hushing the roar of towns, and their brief multitude. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
September by Helen Hunt Jackson. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. The goldenrod is yellow, the corn is turning brown, the trees in apple orchards with fruit are bending down. The gentian's bluest fringes are curling in the sun. In dusty pods the milkweed its hidden silk has spun. The sedges flaunt their harvest in every meadow nook, and asters by the brookside make asters in the brook. From dewy lanes at morning the grapes' sweet odours rise. At noon the roads all flutter with yellow butterflies. By all these lovely tokens, September days are here, with summer's best of weather and autumn's best of cheer. But none of all this beauty, which floods the earth and air, is unto me the secret which makes September fair. 'Tis a thing which I remember, to name it thrills me yet. One day of one September I never can forget. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Sign by Edgar Lee Masters. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Reading by Matt Perard. The Sign. There's not a soul on the square, and the snow blows up like a sail, or dizzily drifts like a drunken man falling before the gale. And when the wind eddies it rifts the snow that lies and drifts, and it skims along the walk and sifts in stairways, doorways all about, the steps of the church in an angry rout. And one would think that a hungry hound was out in the cold for the sound. But I do not seem to mind the snow that makes one blind, nor the crying voice of the wind. I hate to hear the creak of the sign of Harmon Whitney attorney at law, with its rhythmic monotone of awe. And neither a moan, nor yet a whine, nor a cry of pain. One can't define the sound of a creaking sign, especially if the sky be bleak, and no one stirs however you seek, and every time you hear it creak you wonder why they leave it stay when a man is buried and hidden away many a day. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Solitude by Alexander Pope. Read for LibriVox.org by Algie Pug. Happy the man whose wish and care a few paternal acres bound, content to breathe his native air in his own ground; whose herds with milk, whose fields with bread, whose flocks supply him with attire, whose trees in summer yield shade, in winter fire. Blest who can unconcernedly find hours, days, and years slide soft away in health of body, peace of mind, quiet by day, sound sleep by night, study and ease together mixed, sweet recreation and innocence, which most does please with meditation. Thus let me live, unseen, unknown. Thus unlamented let me die, steal from the world, and not a stone tell where I lie. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Taxi by Amy Lowell. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. When I go away from you, the world beats dead, like a slackened drum. I call out for you against the jutted stars, and shout into the ridges of the wind. Streets coming fast, one after the other, wedge you away from me, and the lamps of the city prick my eyes, so that I can no longer see your face. Why should I leave you, to wound myself upon the sharp edges of the night? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Then Again by Sam Walter Foss. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Jim Bowker, he said, if he'd had a fair show, and a big enough town for his talents to grow, and the least bit assistance in hoeing his row, Jim Bowker, he said, he'd filled the world full of the sound of his name, and climb the top round in the ladder of fame. It may have been so, I don't know. Just so it might been. Then again, but he had tarnal luck. Everything went agin him. The errors of fortune, they allus had pin him. So he didn't get no chance to show off what was in him. Jim Bowker, he said, if he'd had a fair show, you couldn't tell where he'd come, and the feats he'd a done, and the heights he'd a clumb. It may have been so, I don't know. Just so it might been. Then again. But we're all like Jim Bowker, thinks I, more or less. Charge fate for our bad luck, ourselves for success, and give fortune the blame for all our distress. As Jim Bowker, he said, if it hadn't been for luck and misfortune and sich, we might have been famous and might have been rich. It might be just so, I don't know. Just so it might been. Then again. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To the Not Impossible Hymn by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. September 2014. How shall I know, unless I go to Cairo and Cathay, whether or not this blessed spot is blessed in every way? Now it may be the flower for me is this beneath my nose. How shall I tell, unless I smell the Carthaginian rose? The fabric of my faithful love no power shall dim or ravel, whilst I stay here. But oh, my dear, if I should ever travel. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Travel by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Read for LibriVox.org by Shakira Searle. September 2014. The railroad track is miles away, and the day is loud with voices speaking. Yet there isn't a train goes by all day, but I hear its whistle shrieking. All night there isn't a train goes by, though the night is still for sleep and dreaming. But I see its cinders red on the sky, and hear its engine steaming. My heart is warm with the friends I make, and better friends I'll not be knowing. Yet there isn't a train I wouldn't take, no matter where it's going. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Welsh Marshes by A. E. Housman. Read for LibriVox.org by Dom Bombadil. High the wains of Shrewsbury gleam, islanded in Severn stream. The bridges from the steeple crest cross the water east and west. The flag of morning conqueror state enters at the English gate. The vanquished Eve, as night prevails, bleeds upon the road to Wales. Ages since the vanquished bled round my mother's marriage bed. There the ravens feasted far about the open house of war. One Severn down to Builders ran, coloured with the death of man. Couched upon her brother's grave, the Saxon got me on the slave. The sound of fight is silent long, that began the ancient wrong. Long the voice of tears is still, that wept of old the endless ill. In my heart it has not died, the war that sleeps on Severn's side. They cease not fighting east and west on the marches of my breast. Here the truthless armies yet trample rolled in blood and sweat. They kill and never die, and I think that each is I. None will part us, none undo the knot that makes one flesh of two. Sick with hatred, sick with pain, strangling, when shall we be slain? When shall I be dead and rid of the wrong my father did? How long till spade and hearse put to sleep my mother's curse? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Wild Winds by Mary F. Butts. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Reading by Matt Perard. Wild Winds by Mary F. Butts. Oh, oh, how the wild winds blow! Blow high, blow low, and whirlwinds go to chase the little leaves that fly, fly low and high. To hollow and to steep hillside they shiver in the dreary weather, and creep in little heaps together, and nestle close and try to hide. Oh, oh, how the wild winds blow! Blow low, blow high, and whirlwinds try to find a crevice, to find a crack. They whirl to the front, they whirl to the back, but Tommy and Will and the baby together are snug and safe from the wintry weather. All the winds that blow cannot touch a toe, cannot twist or twirl one silken curl. They may rattle the doors in a noisy pack, but the blazing fires will drive them back. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.